night down in Atlanta. Milwaukee can sweep their NL East road trip with a win over Atlanta tonight. Coverage will start at 5:39 after Jim, Matt, and Molly. First pitch is at 6:15 right here on 100.5 ESPN. Jim, Matt, and Molly starts right now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim.
He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
A lot about each other. Jim's an onion. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good part.
ESPN Madison, where Jim, Matt, and Molly, Jim Rutledge, responded to CC. Now, Jim, I've known for 20 years. Jim is a Bears fan from Wisconsin, so this is interesting.
How does that work?
How?
Well, I'm not going to criticize someone else's fandom. There's a lot of...
I know.
You can.
I was born and raised Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A Bears fan?
So there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of people in Wisconsin that are Chicago
Broadcasting
fans.
live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light, Ryan. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
I'm Jim Rutledge. I have the power in the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm lonely today, Ryan, because as of yesterday, at this 24 hours ago, I had Matt Hamilton to my left, Molly Brown across the way, Chrissy Birdsall in here as well. Chrissy's off to Orlando. Matt is in Duluth, and Molly is, I think, getting ready. So she's at the zoo, and she's getting ready to fly off to Arizona tomorrow. So now it's just me in the Everlight Solar Studio. Tomorrow, John Adias will be in because Matt is doing, important things like trying to get ready to qualify for the Olympics in a few months. So, and Matt will be joining the show in a few minutes. The little technical difficulties here, but Matt honestly doing us a favor today by finding and carving out time. I think he's at some sort of Olympic facility. He had his Olympic physical today. So we can get an update from Matt Hamilton when he is available. But, Ryan, I woke up this morning not expecting to open my phone and see, national host Freddie Coleman dunking on me. And again, everyone's been fair, but it was surprising. I thought had the Packers leveled down conversation had ended. What? And it had not. But I want to circle back a little bit to the conversation from yesterday because Matt and I got a little bit distracted. We didn't get a chance to get fully into the conversation that was on Unsportsmanlike yesterday morning. And I want to play some of that, get more into it, including some of the stuff that was in the open. So that's what we're going to do to start the show. We got Mark Tauscher coming up a little bit later, and we're going to hear the Freddie Coleman audio. We obviously got Matt's favorite segment, Minute to Win It, later in the show as well. But Ryan, can we start with, resetting it here? Because this is Chris Canty yesterday. And this has been surreal and fun, but he was responding to my take, which is off of his take, that Nick Sirianni, the coaching staff, should not be in front of the Packers. I say victors go to spoils. Packers being 10th is fine. And, in fact, I think the Packers have leveled down a little bit with Matt LaFleur.
So would we like to actually hear the audio that they played of you on Unsportsmanlike
first? We can do the whole
first?
thing, yes.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead first. This is the voice of Jim Rutledge on Unsportsmanlike.
Fantastic.
Left. They went from NFC Championship games with Aaron Rodgers, so that's not sustaining success. They have leveled down. Now, if you want to tell me you believe in Matt LaFleur bringing them back up, fine, but we were looking at the facts. It is back-to-back third-place seasons for the Green Bay Packers in the division, continually getting their ass kicked by the Detroit Lions, and then also being the last team in the playoffs the last 2 years, and they are 1-2 in the playoffs. Those are also parts of the facts. So I'm not saying Matt LaFleur isn't a great coach. I'm not saying the Packers can't climb. I think number 10 is just fine because that allows them to continue to climb back up and prove it. But I also think it's fair to question. I think it's fair to point out that it has not been elite since Aaron Rodgers has left.
All right, so now let's hear from Chris Canty on this.
This was his response to your response yesterday.
Yeah, Jim gonna have to miss me all the way with what he talking about. Matt LaFleur has been the only constant over the last half dozen years with the Green Bay Packers. Remember, when he took over in 2019, the franchise was transitioning away from Ted Thompson to Brian Gutekunst as the lead executive. They're now transitioning to a new team president from Mark Murphy to Ed Policy. And then, oh, by the way, we're turning over the entire roster, including a four-time MVP and a Super Bowl champion in Aaron Rodgers. So when we start talking about how they've leveled down, they haven't leveled down as much as they have just turned over the roster and gotten a lot younger, which is what every team has to go through. And in the midst of that, Matt LaFleur has been able to maintain a level of competitiveness. I praise him for being able to do that, to be able to navigate all of that change throughout that franchise and still put a winning product on the field.
And one thing with Canty there, I don't disagree that LaFleur has been the constant there along with Goody. And that part I'm not disagreeing with. The changing of team president, I don't really think that affects anything for LaFleur and Goody. I guess in theory they have to kind of prove their worth this year because that policy said basically he's not going to extend them now, but he doesn't want them on one-year deals, which after the season they would be in the last year of their deal. Ed Policy was part of the hiring process for Goody and for LaFleur, so I'm not too worried about that. And then you get to Jason Wilde's idea that they'll probably just get extended another year. So I don't think there's any real extra pressure or anything against LaFleur.
Do you think there's anything to the fact that just when that much is changing with the overall structure of the franchise, that there's just less overall stability and security and sureness of what's going on around you? There's just more variables that you have to worry about.
I'm not trying to negate what's going on, but when you're going from someone who's in-house, who was part of the hiring process for you, and they're getting promoted up, you can make a case with Murphy on the way out. Things could be more stable with Ed Policy on the way in. But if you want to call for a little bit there, I don't know how much that would affect LaFleur's job. But I don't disagree that Matt LaFleur has been the stable. And I'm not saying Matt LaFleur isn't a top 10 coach or the Packers don't have a top 10 coaching staff. I think what ESPN said about the Packers having a coaching staff that is 10th overall in the league, I think that's fair. ESPN also pointed out that as of the start of the season, they have 0 players, the Packers, who would be considered blue chip under the age of 25. And so as you have a young roster, that maybe hasn't reached its full potential, which could be put on LaFleur.
Well, do you put that on LaFleur, or is that on Goody if he's not drafting the right guys?
Well, that's a little bit of nature versus nurture.
Okay, so you think that maybe the roster and the lack of proven players isn't necessarily because they're going so young, it's because LaFleur might not be developing them well enough?
We don't know. I'm saying that they both have to be held to somewhat of an account for it. Just like how Jordan Love, who is entering the 6th year of his career, is a player who, like, if Jordan Love, let's say he just settles in as the 11th best quarterback in the league, I don't know if that's indicative of mis-scouting from Goody, or did LaFleur not get the most out of Jordan Love? So, like, that's another way to look at these things here. But with the Packers, and I know Freddie Coleman talked about this as well, but here's my rebuttal to all of this, and I'll repeat it to Freddie. Why I would say they've leveled down is that, Ryan, is it fair to say that the Green Bay Packers ran the North, owned the North under the Aaron Rodgers era?
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, outside of maybe one outlier year from the Bears, one outlier year from the Vikings, and then nothing from the Lions. Yeah.
And who's owned the North since Jordan Love has taken over at quarterback the last 2 years?
It has been the Lions division the last 3 years, really.
True, yes.
Well, 2 years because 3 years ago the Vikings won the division. But other than that, yes, the last 2 years has been undoubtedly the Lions.
And I believe the Lions have won 6 of 7. Now, some of those are against Aaron Rodgers. 6 of 7 against the LaFleur-led Packers. So the Packers went from running the North to getting run over by the Lions. The Lions own the division the last 2 years. I would say the Lions are the favorite to win the division again this year. And the Lions are the team, the NFL darling. Their coaching roster was just picked apart. And we'll have to see how that shakes out for them. But So the Lions own the North. They have won 2 games in the playoffs in the last 2 years to the Packers 1 game in the playoffs over the last 2 years. And so you add that part of it. The Packers were fingertips away from going winless in the NFC North. Now they blocked it and it counts, but 1-5 is not anything to throw a parade about. So when you look at a team that the last 2 years under Jordan Love with LaFleur has gone from running the North and almost always you could set your date book to it to go see the Green Bay Packers play in the NFC Championship game to now they're the 7 seed in the back-to-back years. They won 1 divisional game last year, and they're getting owned by the Detroit Lions. That's a level down. And I'm not saying the Packers couldn't level back up, but at this moment, the Packers are fighting with Minnesota to who's the second best team in the NFC North. But when Aaron Rodgers was here, they were fighting with San Francisco, losing, to see who was the best team in the NFC year over year.
So I think one thing that a lot of people are taking issue with your statement is that not necessarily that the Packers aren't behind the Lions at this point, but I think it's more the idea that since Aaron Rodgers left, Matt LaFleur took it a level down internally, not the external factors of the NFC North having gotten better. In fact, that's one thing I will point out that Evan Cohen actually addressed yesterday when they were talking about your take on Sportsmanlike as well. This is what he had to say.
Is it that the Packers have regressed or the division has gotten significantly better? Because if you think about it, Jim's point was place in the division, right? So which is borderline irrelevant, but just for the sake of conversation. 3rd place, 2nd place, 3rd place, right? But in that time, 8, 9, and 11 in terms of the wins. That's not bad at all when you're breaking in the first year actually was with Rodgers.
That was with Rodgers.
Rodgers, yeah. So the last year of one quarterback, the first year of another quarterback, and now the second year of another quarterback. So under that premise, regardless.
So 20 wins with a new starting quarterback
over the
last 2 years. So that averages out 10 and 7.
The division has gotten better. That's the reality. The Lions are.
And I don't disagree with that, but I will go back to, because I am also the person that said that the Packers ate on a crappy division. They ate up a lot of wins and made themselves look a lot better than they were because they're able to compound and pile up wins when it was the NFC. I've said this forever. The Chicago Bears own themselves with how bad they've been at football over the last decade as much as the Packers have owned the Chicago Bears. And the last time it really hurt that the Bears lost to the Packers was maybe a tad in the Nagy era, but mainly during the Lovie Smith era because that was the only time the Bears were competent. And then you look at Minnesota, up and down in competence, and then Detroit has been irrelevant. But again, I would say to counter that would be, well, maybe LaFleur was falsely inflated. If you're going to tell me that the division got harder and LaFleur came back down to earth, then I would say that maybe LaFleur was inflated with the stats because he got fat off of a weak division. And now
is that also getting fat off the weak division, or also you're going from one Hall of Fame quarterback to one guy who is fringe top 10, a franchise quarterback, but not star-spangled awesome?
And that's fair, but here's the other part of it. The NFC as a whole, Philadelphia, and again, when you had Aaron Rodgers, the Packers were the best team in the NFC, or right there every year, best team in the NFC North. Well, Jalen Hurts, correct me if I'm wrong, he was in the same draft class as Jordan Love?
True, but is this
Let me finish it. So that's 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl win for Philadelphia. So I'm just saying a young QB that Nick Sirianni had to win with, well, he's developed that roster and that team into a Super Bowl caliber team. Washington, people are more excited about the future of Washington and Jane Daniels than they are about the Packers and Jordan Love.
Do you think Jane Daniels would be as good or better of a quarterback than Jordan Love if he was with the Packers?
I don't know. My point is the Packers have been passed by the Eagles and Washington as upper-level teams, so again, leveling down.
The overall point, though, is that you said Matt LaFleur is leveled down. Is it the Matt LaFleur leveled down, or the Packers as a franchise, as a team, has leveled down?
Well, to me, your coach, you're accountable for the development of your players and your wins and losses. I think he's done a good job of bringing in Jeff Hafley. That was a step up for him. But Jordan Love, I think Matt LaFleur is very much to be determined. Because if Jordan Love is the same player this year as he was the other years, who is that on then? Is that on Jordan Love? Is that on LaFleur? Or is that on Goody? It's on all of them. But then I would just say, because here's my overall take on LaFleur. I think his ceiling is short of a Super Bowl. And so, has that ceiling always existed? Where's his floor? I think he is a great offensive mind. I would not put him in the same category as Dan Campbell as a head coach who can run an entire organization.
Okay, so the big question.
You can make a case that the offense matters more, though. Like he's not incompetent. Like if you were giving grades, Matt LaFleur as a leader of men or like a running an organization, like a B, and as an offensive mind an A, and hiring a staff, B minus. Dan Campbell so far gets an A as the leader of an organization, an A as hiring staff. And then as a non-offensive minded coach, I don't really know where you put a guy like that because he was a tight ends coach. I don't know what you call
he was an offensive coach.
Okay, so as running an offense, we'll find out how much attaches to. So that's TBD as an offensive mind because he brought in Ben Johnson. I don't know how much of that was Ben Johnson, how much of that was Dan Campbell, or how much it was the two of them together.
Well, I know part of why you're such a good host, Jim, is because you bring in the right people as well, which is why right now we're going to bring in Matt Hamilton
ready
as
to go.
well.
All right.
He should be. We'll see if Matt has any more technical difficulties. Matt, you hear us?
I do hear you guys. Do you see me and hear me?
We do. And you can see Matt on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream and stream us on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Matt, I want to thank you for seriously, thank you for joining us here. I'm not sarcastically. I want to get to the Carbon Stalking text line, 844-770-3776. This is more. Joe and the Boonies chimes in. Honestly, as much as Jim drives me nuts, being a Chicago guy, he brings a sense of opposing view. You never get smoke blown. Major respect to you, Jim. Thank you, Joe. And then we had Eric and Madison. I think Jim is right about the empirical data, but can't he give me right about performance versus expectation? And that's fair. This is a nuanced argument. Tim in Oregon chimes in. Jim, you are right. Rodgers raked in the division with a rotten division. Now the Lions seem good. The Vikings and the Bears are in development. Matt LaFleur has to get better. So
your point is a valid one, Jim.
Matt, I kind of want to jump in with that part of it. Then I want to find out where you're at after the break. But before we get to break here, Evan had a take basically that the NFC North has leveled up more than the Packers have leveled down, which then retroactively you could kind of say that maybe Rodgers and the Packers ate in a bad division and Matt LaFleur was never a great coach is one way to look at it. Or you could look at it and say, hey, well, I mean, right, if you're saying that everyone got better and now Matt LaFleur is evened out, then maybe he wasn't as good as we thought he was. He's just been a bad division, or the other teams have leveled up. How much do you think the development of, I guess specifically the Lions, has changed the Packers, I guess, level or growth pattern?
Well, as I like to say, and Ryan hates to hear, steel sharpens steel, right? The Packers under that Rodgers era didn't have a whole lot of steel in the North, especially later in his career in the North. For the Packers didn't feel that urgency that they need to get better. They were able to walk their way to a division championship, and I think with the Lions totally revamping their team, essentially from coordinators all the way down to players and personnel, it's kind of jarred the Packers, I think, a little bit with what the status quo was, and that was them being kings of the North. So I would say that jump that the Lions made was maybe something the Packers got caught off guard by, and they were kind of resting on their laurels. So this is the time. Obviously, it's been 3 years, and it seems like they've started to. Obviously, with a new quarterback, you've really had to, you definitely take a step back when you bring a new guy in. So seeing how they are going to continue to answer the call or try and answer the call now, Jordan Love in his third year, excuse-free year, this is it. If you don't perform, it kind of, you are what you are. Like, you might be able to get marginally better here and there, but I think we'll have seen the full picture of Jordan Love. So this is going to be a really interesting year to see if the Packers have kind of answered that call with personnel, and obviously with Halfley being pretty solid so far at defensive coordinator. It could be really interesting to see how the season goes.
Matt, you were telling us an interesting story about your lunch today and how it was made and how much you love Odyssey.
Yes, Odyssey is fantastic. Last night, the wife made some Greek style meatballs for like a euro. We used Odyssey Greek yogurt, which was fantastic for the tzatziki. But what I found out is she just did flour, Greek yogurt, and butter in the mix for the flatbread. And it's no proof. She was able to mix it, fry them off in a frying pan. The whole dish was done in about 45 minutes. Odyssey Greek yogurt and their feta cheese, obviously went on to this delicious gyro, and I could not be happier with the meal. So much so that I packed it for lunch and drove it up here to Minneapolis, where I'm currently at curling. So if you are looking for some Greek flavor and you want to buy Wisconsin-made, Wisconsin locally sourced milk by award-winning cheesemakers, look no further than Odyssey Brands and get your Greek on.
That's Matt Hamilton. We'll hear from Freddie Coleman, and we'll find out exactly where Matt is and what he's doing next. It's Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
So, random Marlin player, Dan Ugla.
All that's going through my head right now is UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly.
I'll give you another one real quick before we get to our side eliminator poll question.
You ugla. You ugla.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Clinky Cleaner CFO, Sean Young.
The local part is what's key for us. Madison is a local community, and that's what I look at with James Imaging. When I talk to our account rep, he's local.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and great people.
I'd say the people at James Imaging are the top of the line for us. They know us, we know them. They take the time to listen to us when we have questions. They make it easy.
And Sean Clinky Cleaners makes it easy for their customers too.
Yes, at Clinky's, we need to be the expert in the field. We want to make life easier for them, and that's what James Imaging does for us.
Sean, any advice for others?
I would say give James Imaging a call. They've been great to us.
James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships. Still going, lowers his shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Wanakee.
The most compelling stories.
Where are you going to be playing basketball next year?
I'm proud and excited to announce that I'll be going to the University of Charleston.
We are now joined by the Executive Director of the WIAA, Stephanie Hauser.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Coming September 2nd to ESPN Radio,
The Rich Eisen Show.
He is none other than the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders. Look at you, humbleness.
The Rich Eisen Show.
None other than Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. How you doing, Jordan? Good to see you.
Good, Rich. How you doing?
Happy to have you back, Steve Sarkisian.
Appreciate you having me on, Rich.
Rich Eisen, coming September 2nd on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
No sleep till.
I don't think Packer fans and Wisconsin sports fans cover themselves in glory when Joe and Madison chimes in. God, get this guy off Wisconsin Airways. All Jim is doing is crapping on the Packers. Easily the worst personality on ESPN Madison, and Jim, Matt, and Molly. They're the only ones that make the show worth watching. Well, thank you for watching, and maybe just have the ability to take a counter view without getting your underwear in a bunch. Maybe do
thank
that.
you.
Because Matt can do it. Molly can do it. Most people can do it.
And my underwear's in a bunch currently.
Ooh. That's a heck of a physical you had, Matt Hamilton. All right.
Yeah, it was a doozy.
Matt Hamilton, you can see him on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. Stream us on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Primetime Lorshine with me in the Everlight Solar Studio. I am Jim Rutledge. Matt, before we get to Freddie Coleman, now that you're officially locked in technically for the show, where are you? What are you doing? And give us that update.
So I'm in Chaska, Minnesota, kind of a suburb of Minneapolis, and I am currently preparing to play a trials for the Pan Pacific Curling Championships. That's a event that qualifies Asian teams and North American and South American teams for the World Championships. So they take like the top 4 from that event. What we're playing now is just the United States teams. Winner gets to go represent the United States at those Pan Continental Championships. So this is the qualifier for the Pan Continentals. Starts on Friday, but obviously since it's August and there's no ice in Madison, figured it'd be a good idea to get some reps on the curling ice before we go and try and compete to represent the United States in any event, let alone something like that qualifies you for the World Championships.
No, absolutely. And then obviously we joked yesterday that Molly's going to be in Arizona next week. I am up north in like Cable, Wisconsin area. What are you doing next week? Because you're out as well. I have no idea who's doing the show. I believe Jesse thought you were doing
Monday through Wednesday.
Oh, so you are in. Okay, so that was a surprise. Okay.
I'm in next week for the first 3 days, and then Thursday and Friday, one of our curling team sponsors, part of our contract is doing events with them. They've got a golf outing with their entire company. The company is called Allianz, and we're going to be going up to a golf outing, and I think it's like a happy hour Thursday night, so I got to be on the road and in Minneapolis again for that. But yeah, it's part of work. I mean, to be fair, it's really a fun job when you get to get your sponsorship to go hang out and golf and go to like a cocktail hour with some people in a company that are really passionate about the support that they give towards the Olympics. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. They always have like great questions. People are super engaged and interested in like Olympic stuff, curling world, what's it like being a professional athlete? I'm like, well, I'm a radio host, actually. I would technically say I'm a professional radio host, and I've got a semi-pro curling career in addition to. So it's a lot of fun, but obviously that's not something I can back out of because I signed an agreement that I would be there.
We're not asking you to back out of it. I just wanted everyone to kind of know what, you're in the curling season, which does include appearances as well. So thanks for the update on that. And, thank God that they at least get some of Jim, Matt, and Molly. I thought there was going to be all Jesse Nelson next week, and we were going to lose all the momentum we've had over the last 2 weeks as I continue to upset the natives on a regular basis.
That's very true.
That sounded really silly.
I honestly really thought it was going to be the not Jim, Matt, or Molly show all the next week. So, Matt, you being here, Matt Hamilton and friends for Monday through, Matt Hamilton and friend, because Jesse Nelson has no other friends. But at least having that Monday through Wednesday.
Matt Hamilton and coworker.
Matt Hamilton and teammates, exactly, yes. Yes, good job, Matt. Thank you.
Yes,
you
no
just
problem.
put a huge smile on Ryan's face because he thought he was just going to have to deal with that disaster.
Ryan, I mean, it's either that or you clip a week's worth of best of Jim, Matt, and Molly, and we just run replays.
Or we could just run replays of people on Sportsmanlike getting upset with my Packers leveling down take. We can
People
get to
like me.
Freddie Coleman this morning. So I woke up this morning, Matt, and as we joked before.
I was listening too on the road.
So I wasn't listening. I opened up my phone, and I open it up, and I see the clip piece from Freddie Coleman, obviously having to take to my take, and I said, good morning, world. So, again, it happened. Now, Freddie's great. I didn't even realize I wasn't following him because he's an awesome radio host. I guess I didn't realize he was on Twitter, but so I quickly followed him, and he replied back.
Such a sultry voice.
Yeah, he does have a sultry voice.
Like
and
deep,
he was
it's just velvety.
And super
Jim
kind.
Rutledge.
Yes, right? I wish I could sound like that. So
that sounded really silly.
Yeah, and so I want to play this because Freddie had a great response on social, and he was really cool about it. But Ryan had hinted here that he was not tipped off like Evan Cohen tipped off Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman, that I am not a Wisconsin or I'm not a Packers fan, even though I was born and raised in Wisconsin.
You're a Chicago fan.
Yeah. And we'll get into how rare that is, because I don't think it's as rare as, and Evan kind of touched on it. Like, there's a fair amount. There's more Cubs fans and Bears fans in the state of Wisconsin, but it's not like you get to the west coast of Wisconsin, you're bleeding into Minnesota fans there, and you get down to the border. As I've said before, I think Madison's not closer, but like when I grew up in Cedarburg, but like you're closer to Illinois and Chicago than you are to Green Bay. Like geographically, it would make more sense. Instead of these imaginary lines. But regardless of that, let's hear Freddie Coleman today.
Well, it wasn't elite when Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career was there, Jim Rutledge, because I seem to remember a 13-10 playoff loss at home to San Francisco to Jimmy Garoppolo on the other side being your quarterback against the Green Bay Packers. I also seem to remember that when you had to have a chance to go to the playoffs against the Lions team in the second year of Dan Campbell, that you couldn't beat them at home. I also seem to remember that after that, Jordan Love won a playoff game and led in another playoff game against San Francisco.
What happened there?
Got a little glitch there, but now we're back.
And got your team back to the playoffs in an injury-filled year last year. That sounded really silly for Jim Rutledge to say they've leveled down. They were leveling down when Aaron Rodgers, not trying to shade on him because he's an MVP, but I seem to remember Aaron Rodgers giving away an NFC Championship game away against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when the game was there for the taking in the second half, and he kept throwing the interceptions when Brady wasn't playing well. So if Jim Rutledge is going to say they've leveled down since Jordan Love, he might need to look at those numbers again, because that has not been the case with Jordan Love being the quarterback. If anything, they've been on the same level and have leveled up more than at the end of Aaron Rodgers' domain with the Green Bay Packers. You would think that somebody lives in that state that would know that, named Jim Rutledge, to say that they've leveled down and saying that's fair is completely unfair because it's not accurate to say they've leveled down since and not been elite since Aaron Rodgers has been there. They weren't elite when Aaron Rodgers was there at the end of his Green Bay Packers career. That sounded really silly.
So, a couple things there. One, I feel like Matt's going to be more upset with that take than I will because Matt's the big Aaron Rodgers stan. Two, I don't know if Freddie did this on purpose or not, but one of the things they teach you, like on the sales side of things, but he works as a radio host, is that you say someone's name, you kind of bring them in closer. You make it more personal. That is awesome. And the third part of it is, like, I don't disagree with anything that Freddie said. What I will say here, Matt, and I'll just reiterate the argument, and you can chime in on this, 844-770-3776. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. No Molly. She's in Arizona. Matt is joining the show. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream and stream us on the ESPN, the new ESPN app, or the ESPN Wisconsin app, excuse me, and then Primetime Lorshine with us as well. And what I said about the Packers here is that basically since Jordan Love has taken over, Matt, it's fair to say that prior to this, outside of Aaron Rodgers last year with the Packers ran the North. They owned the North. That was the thing that they love to talk about. Kings of the North. The Lions have owned the North the last 2 years, without a doubt. The Packers were a fingertip away from being winless in the division last year. They were 1-5 in the division last year. The Lions, again, continuing their dominance, 2 wins to 1 win for the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs over the last few years. And the Packers, you're right, they made the playoffs, but they are the 7 seed in back-to-back years. And so when you add in the fact that Philadelphia, who has a quarterback with the same amount of time in the league, Jalen Hurts, has gone to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. Jaden Daniels, I think, has surpassed, and Washington has surpassed Green Bay as the darling QB and the darling team right now. So it could be a case of the teams leveling past the Packers, and maybe they've stayed where they're at. But I think my argument for them leveling down is that they have slipped in the division behind Detroit. They're now peers with Minnesota. They have slipped in the NFC to be clearly behind San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Washington over the last few years. And so that's not where they were when they had Aaron Rodgers with LaFleur, and they were going to NFC Championship games to lose to Tampa and San Francisco, or at least losing to San Francisco sometimes deeper in the playoffs. So the one thing that's remained the same for the Green Bay Packers in the LaFleur era, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love, is that they're going to lose to San Francisco in the playoffs.
I mean, yes. Unfortunately, that does seem to be accurate that San Francisco has, or at least Kyle Shanahan has LaFleur's number in the playoffs, which is funny because the Packers seem to have had the regular season wins against Kyle Shanahan, but obviously regular season wins aren't worth a damn if you're losing to him in the playoffs when it really matters, when all the chips are on the table. I think I kind of agree with Freddie. I think it more that the rest of these teams seem to be leveling up. The Packers, at least Matt LaFleur, has been when you get a new quarterback like that, I don't feel like it's super common to be able to like just make the playoffs in back-to-back years. Sure, it was the 7th seed, but making the playoffs is making the playoffs. Doing what you need to do to get into that postseason is exactly what Matt LaFleur is doing. Sure, we like to have a little bit better finish, but we've got all these other teams in the North that seem to be on the upswing, and the Packers were about assuming that this season Jordan Love is able to make a step, which is a big assumption. But if they do, they're 2 seasons behind some of these other teams in the North who are on that upswing right now. Like, I guess Minnesota kind of reset it with J.J. McCarthy, but the Lions kind of have a 2-year head start into figuring out exactly what personnel they need. And I think they have the personnel. Now are these coaches legit? Are these new guys that Dan Campbell brought in legit? So I do think that there's a chance that this NFC North is going to be a meat grinder of a division, and the Packers can't afford to go 1-5 in it anymore because we've got tougher schedules outside the division this year. The Bears have one of the hardest schedules in football. Packers and Vikings are up there as well. I believe they're all in the top like 6 or 7 for hardest strength of schedule according to ESPN right now. So it's definitely a tall task, but so far Matt LaFleur has only missed the playoffs once. He's been up to that task of getting to the playoffs in the postseason. The next step for him is proving that he is a Super Bowl worthy coach. I don't think we've seen. I think he's capable of it, but he's going to have to prove it, right? Like, I can believe you can do it. I can believe that I was going to win a gold medal again in 22, but I didn't do it again, so I didn't prove it. Like, am I still gold medal worthy? You know, a lot of people can make an argument that it's no. Like,
Matt, if you won it, I'm sorry, you won it. Like, to me, like, that's
but like if they ask, can he still do it? It's totally a fair argument to say, like, hey, the last time he was there, he didn't make it. he's got to prove it again. He's got to get there. And I think Matt LaFleur needs to prove that he can get to that NFC championship game again and then get over the hump.
Matt, I'm gonna blow a little smoke your way. Once you're a gold medalist or you win a Super Bowl, like that's proof of concept. And so Matt LaFleur, in this case, I agree with you as well. He has proof of concept that he can get to the NFC championship game. He has to prove that he can get to the Super Bowl. If you can do it once, I'm going to assume you can do it again. And Matt, so the gold medal, like, yes, you're still within your athletic prime for a curler. Like, yeah, there's proof of concept. You won Olympics, you finished fourth. You won the gold. We'll see what happens this time. Hopefully you get an opportunity to do so. Hey, Wisconsin sports fans, Jim Rutledge here. It's almost that time of year again. Football season is around the corner. On August 20th, the fantasy football draft is back as ESPN Wisconsin takes over the Sportsbook in Milwaukee for another exclusive event. Call to join the ESPN Wisconsin Fantasy League and go head-to-head with me, Matt Hamilton, and Molly Brown as your draft championship team. We're talking free food, great prizes, and the full VIP experience, all for fans 21 and up. Callers number 3, 4, and 5 will be a winner to play in the ESPN Wisconsin Fantasy Football League. It is in Milwaukee. If your name is announced, you have 48 hours to claim your spot to this exclusive event. Callers number 3, 4, and 5. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller number 3, 4, and 5. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Hey, Matt Hamilton here to tell you about the delicious Odyssey Brands, a family-owned company crafting award-winning cheese right here in Wisconsin for over 4 generations. Made with locally sourced milk, Odyssey brings bold, Greek-style flavors straight to your table. From savory, crumbly feta to rich and creamy Greek yogurt, every bite is a taste of tradition and quality. You can find Odyssey products at most major retailers nationwide and online. Odyssey, crafted in Wisconsin, loved everywhere, dairy done right.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? when you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
You love choices.
Like your choices with a Sweeto metal roof.
Choose standing seam or high-profile steel shingles that come in a variety of styles that last a lifetime.
Put a Sweeto metal roof on and take the worry off with choices.
I'm Mike.
And Mary Sweeto. Enjoy the long-lasting architectural strength and beauty of a Sweeto metal roof.
SWITA metalroofing.com.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Coming September 2nd to ESPN Radio, The Rich Eisen Show.
He is none other than the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders. Look at you, humble miss.
The Rich Eisen Show.
None other than Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. How you doing, Jordan? Good to see you.
Good, Rich. How you doing?
Happy to have you back, Steve Sarkisian.
Appreciate you having me on, Rich.
Rich Eisen, coming September 2nd on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues. I'm Jim Rutledge in the Everlight Solar Studio. Matt Hamilton, you can see him on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. He is in Minneapolis, and Primetime Lorsheim was behind the glass with me in the Everlight Solar Studio. Matt has gotten lonely in here. Just yesterday, it was Matt Hamilton, Molly Brown, Chrissy Birdsall. Chrissy's off to Orlando. Molly's off to Arizona. You're in Minneapolis. It's going to be a while before we're all in the same place together, but Molly and I will be back August 18th. Ryan, the mainstay on the show, will be around. And Matt, you're hosting 3 days next week here. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. And I wanted to, and I forgot to ask Ryan to get the audio ready, but Ryan, we had audio in the open, Evan Cohen talking about, and Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman being surprised that I'm in Wisconsin and grew up in Wisconsin, but I'm a Bears fan. And we had JB from the V chime in. Bears fans from Wisconsin are absolute worst. They're a bunch of jerks. Richards is the word to use. I respect Bear fans who are from Illinois. They were born into that pile of poop. They've never known any better. And then he actually adds on, Jim is actually right on his take, though. He needs to finally admit that Jordan Love is hot garbage. He keeps giving him a bit of flowers when he deserves none, and I pray we draft a new quarterback. So setting that part aside, because we are going to get to Jordan Love in a minute
Big Sean
here.
Clifford fan here.
Yeah. I want to get
Also,
to – well, go ahead.
Oh, real quick on the fandom.
That's what I want to get to, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're definitely looped into your parents.
Yes.
Right? Their fandom tends to be where they fall. Your daughters are Bear fans.
Yep.
And they were born even closer to Green Bay than you were, right?
Yep.
This is not that surprising. If I were to say move to California and had kids out there, there's no way that at least growing up, that they're going to have any sort of California sports team gear. And they're going to be like, why are you a Packer fan? It's well, my dad was a Packer fan growing up. That's just how it goes. It's not oh, I'm born here, so I got my Packer card, and they handed it to me along with my birth certificate in the hospital. I was like, all right, here's your first Packer onesie, and here's your birth certificate. Good luck in life, kid.
You're right. Let's hear from Evan, and then I want to get to a poll question, and you can chime in on the Carbos Talking text line 844-770-3776. List is more. Let's hear Evan, and then I want to get to our poll question, which Matt kind of hinted at.
ESPN Madison, where Jim, Matt, and Molly, Jim Rutledge, responded to Cece. Now, Jim, I've known for 20 years. Jim is a Bears fan from Wisconsin. So this is interesting.
How does that work?
How?
Well, I'm not going to criticize someone else's fandom. There's a lot of...
I'm just very curious.
You can't. I'm the worst fan ever.
Born and raised Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A Bears fan?
So there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of people in Wisconsin that are Chicago fans and probably different parts of Illinois that would be Packers fans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's right on that, especially over the last, 30 years, the success the Packers have had. I have family that's in like Roscoe, Illinois, and Rockford area, and they will complain that they are diehard Bear fans, but like, God, everyone's now just Packer fans because they're fair weather, the team's winning, which is a little bit different. I don't know their whole story. Like, if you flip, that's a little different there, but...
I have you ever heard of a Wisconsinite who started a Packer fan who flipped to the Bears?
No, and I don't think I've really...
anywhere in the division.
Yeah, I haven't heard it the other way either. The one thing I will say here is, and this is what I wanted to ask our side of them in a poll question, is fandom. Is it nature or nurture? Like, that's basically it. That's our side of the limited poll question. Fandom. Is it more nature or nurture? It's not like it's not in your DNA. Like, it's not like you don't have a chip implanted yet as far as like what you're going to like and what you're going to do. I grew up in Wisconsin around Packer fans, but like my household where I spent most of my time was Bears fan. I have family from Illinois, and it is I grew up a Bulls fan, the Jordan era. Basketball to me is so much less intense that I'm happy and thrilled that the Milwaukee Bucks are crushing it, and I've gone to way more Bucks games, and I'm a diehard Bucks fan. I just had that run with the Bulls. I've kind of abandoned them. I'd like them to see them do well, but like whatever. I'm all in on the Bucks. I've probably gone to 100 Bucks games in my life, probably more than any other team I've seen play professionally is Milwaukee Bucks. Badgers, obviously I went to FAU, but Badgers are the college team here, so I like the Badgers. The Brewers, again, I'm not anti-Brewers. I think people like to think I am because I'm pro-Cubs. I don't even like baseball anymore. I like the Chicago Cubs. And then, like, we have Brewers baseball on the radio, which is great. But otherwise, like, I'm indifferent to the Brewers because I chose to be a Brewers fan, even though my dad and my brother are White Sox fans, because I said, okay, well, I can root for the Cubs in the National League and then root for the Brewers in the American League. Blame Bud Selig, who, and I think he did this for, stop me if you heard this before, for monetary reasons. He wanted to get out of the American League because there's a DH there and you had to pay the DH back in the day. And it was cheaper to have one less position to pay, obviously, because you had the pitcher bat. So the Brewers got into the National League. Well, then there was a crossover. Until then, so 18 years of my life, I was a Brewers fan and a Cubs fan because why not? And so that's my fandom, but it is heavily influenced, even my counter to my dad being a White Sox fan, by your parents. And I think that that's got to be the case for just about everyone who follows sports. Ryan,
yeah.
I guess, well, Matt, you were born and raised here, and your family are Wisconsin sports fans, so like it's not the best look at it. But Ryan, what about you? I mean, obviously, I'm guessing similar, but what's your thought on this take overall?
There was a point in time in my life where I was a Cubs and Cardinals fan.
Wow.
Because I grew up in a household. My dad became a Cardinals fan when he was a kid because his dad grew up with, I believe at the time, the Milwaukee Braves were a franchise, but for some reason, at least maybe where my dad's dad grew up, he didn't root for the Milwaukee Braves. But he rooted for the St. Louis Cardinals because he was rooting for one of the biggest teams in baseball, the one that he could actually pick up on the radio. But he just refused to root for the Cubs because he was still a diehard Packers fan, as he should be. Okay. But my mom then, her entire family, and she is from Illinois, they all grew up diehard Cubs fans. So until the age of like maybe 8 or 9, I was like the kid who would wear a Cardinals jersey and a Cubs hat to a baseball game. And then eventually, as time went on, my dad also rooted for the Brewers, funny enough, even as a Cardinals fan. Our house was very weirdly muddled for baseball fandom.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially
but also, baseball's not that serious as far as fandom, in my opinion. Like, it's nowhere close to football.
Other than the Cardinals-Cubs thing. Like, that is
a real thing.
That is crossing.
And I would say Cubs-White Sox in Chicago, intense. But that's more of like the sort of like
that's a little brother
Romeo and Juliet, sort of the divided families. It is. What do you think? You're better than me? Like the White Sox are the working collar, the Cubs are the white collar snooty fans, and the White Sox
the Northsiders,
are like
the Southsiders.
Yeah, it's an identity in some of those places, in that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I never had any split fandoms. And then I came around to just being a full Brewers fan once I got to like 11, 12 years old. Once I like fully formed my own brain, the nature aspect of it. I mean, it didn't have to do with nurture. If nurture, then I would be still rooting for the loser Cubs, which stink.
They did win today, but yes.
Oh, they beat the Reds.
They did.
They beat the Reds.
I know the Reds are no Washington Nationals or Atlanta Braves, but yeah, they did beat the Reds. No, the Cubs are scuffling, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim. I think you would know better. It was either radio or television. The Cubs were like almost every game was broadcast.
WGN, and that's the other reason why.
One of my curling teammates back in the day from Madison is a Cubs fan because that was the game he could always rely on getting. He could always listen to or
no, it was
watch?
on TV. Yeah, because you were out the day after I went to the Cubs Brewers game at AmFam. Ryan Sandberg had passed away, and that really hurt my childhood because I remember I probably saw Ryan Sandberg play 100+ times on WGN growing up with that Cubs team and Harry Carey. So yeah, you're right. It was on WGN. For whatever reason, cable back then, they almost every cable platform across the country carried WGN, and WGN had the rights to the Cubs games, so you would get a lot of Cubs games. Much like there's more Braves fans than normal because the Braves were on TBS forever as well. And you got to see that Maddox and Smoltz and Glavine team.
And I think that's a great point to it as well, is that sometimes you start rooting just for the players of the team, and then because of that, you become a fan of that team. Like, part of the reason why I became a real Brewers fan was also because of Ryan Braun around 2007, 2008. Once again, when I was little Ryan, primetime Wollersheim was like this again.
10-year-old Ryan.
He's the NL Rookie of the Year. He's the NL MVP. He plays for the Brewers. We go to Brewers games like twice a year. Yes, that's how part of why the Brewers became the team that I rooted for more than the Cubs or the Cardinals eventually.
Yeah, and so like the fandom side of it is funny to me because I'm not, and also Lake Geneva area. I feel like there's a lot more Bears fans. You get down to the south part of Wisconsin, it's definitely split, but the northern part of Illinois definitely split, and the west side of the state, you're mixing in some Minnesota fans, which is fine because you go down to Florida, it's all over the place because you have people from all. Because that's the unique thing here in Wisconsin, and I'm not ripping it, but if I just had to guess, I feel like Wisconsin's got to be one of the, especially outside of Madison, one of the least transient states of like how many people.
We keep our people in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and then and not a lot of people come in, and then people come back. Sometimes they leave and come back, but not a lot of people come in. Especially if you didn't like go to UW-Madison, which is more of like an international. Well, probably not anymore. There's no more allowed to have international schools. But in general, it's like at least a state that a school that across the United States people come into. So like that will be still a thing here in Madison of having people from all over the place.
Fingers crossed. No,
hopefully without interstate travel.
Honestly, Florida, I go down there maybe once a year to go visit my grandparents as well, and like we go down there and it's like mostly Bears and Packers fans. It's a ton, especially like college football fans. It's all Big Ten, at least in like the Central Florida area where all the retirees go, obviously.
Yeah.
But even then, like it's like pretty split, like Big Ten, SEC. It's weird the amount of Midwesterners, the snowbirds who go down there and just bring their family.
And then when I was on the East Coast, it was Steelers and Eagles and Ravens were the three that I like more than Dolphin fans, honestly.
I will say going down to like Arizona or Florida to visit my grandfather when I was really young. It was kind of interesting to see all the different like jerseys and uniforms that everybody like would wear around, like you'd see hats, ball caps from every different club. One time I was in Tampa Bay visiting my grandfather in St. Pete Beach, and I was throwing a football with my dad. This is about the time that they had like there's that Snickers commercial where they were painting the end zone for the Chiefs, and the guy wrote chefs.
Yeah.
So we drew in this 20-yard football field and had chefs written in the end zone.
Nice.
And it was pretty funny because we were throwing the ball, and this big dude comes out and like walks up to our field, and he kind of like gives me a clap and puts his hands up like he wants to catch it. Throw him the ball. He throws me one back. I make a catch. And, I always, as a kid, always was like, tried to toe tap.
Yeah.
Tried to get 2 feet in and then fall down.
Yeah.
Made the catch. He gave me the hands up and then went back to the bar. And my dad came up to me. He's like, "Do you know who you just caught a pass from?" I was like, "No, who's that?" He goes, "Mike Allstott."
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that bruiser. I hate him for beating up the Packers so often. Him and Work Dunn were like some of my favorite 1-2 punch of all time.
That
was
was
cool. I caught a pass from Mike Allstott when I was 10 years old down in Tampa Bay, St. Pete Beach area.
That is an amazing story. On our way out here, Matt, you need to disconnect, though, because we're going to do – but wait for a second because I want you to hear this compliment as well, but we're going to do
it took us so long to connect, Jim. You really want me to disconnect?
Well, I don't know, or unplug your AirPods.
I got you.
But we got Minute to Win It coming up, but Eric in Green Bay chimes in. One of the things that makes this show work is having a mix of homers along with a resident Chicago sports fan. Great to hear analysis without green and gold glasses. Fair assessment, good banter, fun rivalries, also differentiates from other local sports radio programming. I'll tell you this right now, that's on purpose. Matt and Molly are incredibly talented, but nobody would want to listen to just me talk about Wisconsin sports. That's why we have
so you can tell Rutledge
two really talented people in Matt and Molly. None of them are going to be here for a little bit, or at least not at the same time. But in general, I'm out too, so you won't have to deal with me. In general, that's the design of the show, is to have them give me crap like you want to. Or you can just call in because I've lived in Wisconsin. I'm 45, so I don't know. I think I was in Florida maybe. So 36 of my 45 years have been in Wisconsin. So I've taken crap my entire life. I'm not really fazed by it anymore.
Yeah, you're not going to hurt his feelings.
No. Matt, can you step out here as we're going to do Minute to Win It here, brought to you by our good friends at North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. 3 great locations in the Madison area, Madison, DeForest, and in Verona. Verona's the one that I usually go to, but all 3 are fantastic. You can carry out, you can dine in, and you can have them cater. And obviously with volleyball season coming up, you're going to hear a lot more of them here on ESPN Madison because they're proud supporters of UW volleyball.
So our category today for Minute to Win It, Jim, there's a bit of injury news at training camp. Quay Walker has returned to practice yesterday.
Oh, good. Yeah.
He's in limited fashion participating in 11 drills. And one thing I was surprised by while reading about this, that he's just the second Packers player to record over 100 tackles in his first 3 seasons with the team.
Okay.
So it made me wonder, who are the Packers who have 100-plus tackle seasons in their career? There's only 9 of them.
Wow.
How many do you think Matt can guess?
I feel like I got 2 off the top of my head. He's not listening. Let me just tell me if these are right off the top of my head. A.J. Hawk and Blake Martinez.
Yeah, easies.
Okay. So, but out of that 9, how many are to that level then?
I will say that most of these are within the last 20 years because of when they started tracking tackles.
So it's 9 besides Quay or 9 including Quay?
9 including Quay.
So we give him Quay, or how does that work?
Or we just I'm not going to.
Gotcha.
He's not going to get the context.
Gotcha. Okay, so, man, 5.5.
5.5?
No, it's just Matt. We'll go 4, and he's on the road. We'll go 4.5. That's
and he's on the road.
That's a little. I guess that's like directly half. So
he's out of his element.
Will he get half? Is
he's
kind
not
of the
in green and gold country. Okay.
Will he get half? Because 4.5 is right there in the middle. So either get half or less, more than half or less than half. So
perfect.
All right, and that. What callers are we doing here?
Let's do caller 4 and 6.
Caller number 4, caller number 6, you're at least going to get a $25 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. It might even be a $50 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller number 4, caller number 6, you're at least going to get a $25 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. It might even be a $50 gift card to North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Minute to Win It, coming up next.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
So since I didn't go to college, can I just claim one, like Wisconsin?
We should campaign for schools in the state of Wisconsin to give Matt free stuff.
All the UW schools. Whoever gives Matt the most amount of free stuff is who Matt will pick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is true.
Who wants to give me an honorary degree?
Where would you take your honorary degree from?
Literally anywhere. Literally anywhere. Clown school.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at StarionBank.com. Member FDIC. New OC Jeff Grimes impacting Wisconsin's offensive unit before kickoff. A hands-on tactic, keeping tabs with each position group in every single room. Offensive lineman Riley Molman taking notice and recognizing the difference it's made.
Coach Grimes has been awesome. I mean, it's really that he's not with a specific position. He's really free to help coach every position. So you're kind of hearing a little bit from him in the O-line room. Then he goes to tight ends, QBs, and he's really sharing his knowledge and sharing the love around kind of the whole offense, which I think helps make it a more cohesive group.
For long-lasting comfort and reliability, our craftsmen make it easy to trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 5 years at PellaWI.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Pizza Hut is hiring, and you're invited to the party. On Tuesday, August 12th, Pizza Hut is hosting on-the-spot interviews for drivers, crew, and managers for all area stores, including full and part-time roles. Enjoy flexible hours, full benefits if you work 30-plus hours a week, and real opportunities to grow. Plus, free pizza and drinks for everyone who interviews on August 12th. Join them from 1 to 6:30 p.m. at 7468 Mineral Point Road in Madison. Bring your appetite and your resume to Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Clinky Cleaners has been in business for over 65 years, and they've had document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems for right around 30 years. CFO Sean Young explains why.
Probably the best thing about James Imaging that's worked for us is they're reliable, they're dependent, they always make things easy for us.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and local people who make doing business easy.
They're quick to come whenever we need them, point out lots of simple things for us to try to save us some money and save us time and eliminate headaches.
So Sean, the bottom line of having business technology from James Imaging Systems?
I just appreciate the work that James Imaging has done for us. They're always looking out for our best interests.
James Imaging Systems. Make it easy, save money, eliminate headaches. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owns. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Continues, my bad. We are in the Everlight Solar Studio. By we, I mean me. Primetime War Sounds behind the glass. I like the Oklahoma Roughnecks t-shirt there, Prime. You can see that in the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. And Matt Hamilton is ready to go for a minute to win it. So let's get right into it. You can see all of us on the ESPN Madison YouTube and stream us on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Will they beat the odds?
I say everything with pure confidence, whether I think I'm totally right or not.
Or crumble under pressure?
I legitimately know one of these. I legitimately have one.
This is the Minute to Win It, presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, with 3 locations in Madison, DeForest, and Verona.
So, Matt, you being the Packers aficionado that you are, as Jim was just laying out before the break here, I know that you're a statistical historian of the team, right? A statistician, one might say?
That's more Molly's area of expertise.
Come on, Matt. You're a box score hero. We all know this.
And but it's current box scores.
True. But that might help him a little bit, because today we're doing the all-time box score stat for football, for defenders at least. We're going the 9 Green Bay Packers who have 100-plus tackle season in their career. You got me?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And by the way, so I'll give you a little context on this about how tackles work, or at least as a stat. The NFL didn't begin tracking these combined tackles, which we're using. We're doing combined tackles today for a 100-plus tackle season. They didn't start tracking that until 1978. So it gives you a reference.
Yeah. Good.
This is basically the last 50 years. So, I mean, you're not going to get,
Well, I'm 50, so I should be able to rattle off some of these.
Well, perfect, because your timer starts right now.
Blake Martinez.
Blake Martinez is on the list. He's on there 3 times.
Quay Walker.
Quay Walker is on the list as well.
AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk, obviously, on the list, too.
Those are the 3 I thought I would get for sure.
Those
Did
are 3
Clay Matthews get it?
Clay Matthews never got 100 tackles in a season.
I think that was a trick
Surprising
one.
enough.
I think that was a trick one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who's another middle linebacker that I thought I think could do it? Did I say Barnett?
Nick Barnett?
Nick Barnett.
He is on the list as well.
Okay.
Did it 4 times.
Man, I'm struggling. I feel like it's middle linebackers, but I'm struggling to think of.
That's the easiest one.
Kuntz.
Yeah. Oh, Nick Kuntz?
George
Kuntz.
Kuntz. Yeah.
Is he from Seinfeld?
No.
Nick Kuntz.
That is incorrect. He never got 100 tackles.
That's a good guess, though.
That's about as far back as I can remember for my guys. I'm trying to think some more recent ones. I'm drawing a blank.
Nick Perry?
I feel like I got the tap-ins, but...
The sack guys, I don't think get the tackles.
Yeah, exactly. The outside linebackers, the pass rushers, Clay Matthews never did it. He played up middle linebacker once in his career, but he never quite got
Did
close.
Woodson ever get up there? I know he was like...
Charles Woodson was just off. He once had 93 tackles.
That's a good
season.
guess,
I knew
too.
he got really close.
But there were 2 Packers safeties who were on this list. That would be Adrian Amos at number 8. He had 102 tackles in 2022, and then HaHa Clinton Dix had exactly 100 tackles in 2015.
Yeah,
they were the only
I think
2
I got
safeties.
a little too hung up on middle linebackers.
But that's a good
that I
one.
didn't-
Safeties is the sneak. Like, if you would have thought of Woodson earlier, you probably would have kicked over to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the 2 safeties who
What was
racked
the
up.
line?
4.5. You got 4.
Oh,
That's a good
so
line.
Close. It was a great line.
Because initially, Matt, I went 5.5, and I'm like, wait, no, Matt's on the road, and he's solo. So I knocked it down to half because there was 9 total guys.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I got the tap-ins.
I knew you'd get those 3. I knew you'd get those 3.
Yes, the easy ones you got off the rip were Quay Walker, Blake Martinez, and AJ Hawk. They're the
They were
tackle
tackling
machines.
machines,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then you got Nick Barnett. Good pull. By the way, there was a 3rd safety who I forgot to mention. Morgan Burnett.
Okay.
He was a tackler. He had 139 tackles in 2005.
Wow.
Dude was a machine. And then Quay Walker, actually just the 2nd Packer to have over 100 tackles in each of his first 3 seasons. He and AJ Hawk. Fun fact. That's where this list came from, by the way. And then Desmond Bishop was another off-ball linebacker. He had 115 tackles in 2011, 103 in 2010. Core of that Packers defense that won the Super Bowl. So then the other one that you missed, the guy who has the most tackles in a season in Packers franchise history, happened in 2021, Matt. Who was it?
2021.
You're gonna kick yourself hard on this.
Rashawn Gary.
All pro. All pro.
I'm blanking.
From the sidewalk to the trophy stand. Come on. Devondre Campbell, that would be.
Oh,
Devondre Campbell, 146 tackles in 2021.
Oh my goodness.
Remember Devondre Campbell?
Honestly, and I'm not getting on Matt for it. That should be a layup, but I didn't even think of it either.
No.
Yeah, it should have been, because that's well within my wheelhouse of even being on the show where I've been a box score hero.
Well, because remember when they drafted Quay Walker, it was like, oh, they have Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker playing next to each other now. Like, this is big. This is going to be the best inside linebacker.
Came back to earth because he was like, what a find. And they're like, why is this guy available? It's like, oh, this is why he's available.
Yeah, and
he's
then
got a year in him.
And then he was wondering why the 49ers benched him and walking off the field.
Right.
Devondre Campbell. What? Well, a lot of stories, a lot of memories from that guy. Though Matt Hamilton forgot him.
Yeah,
unforgettable. What's his name? All right.
Yeah, exactly.
We're super long. What do we got going on? Guys, let's do this on the air here.
We got Mark Tauscher coming up next.
He's still going to join us?
He
We're
is.
like a whole segment behind.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Did the person who called in first take the over or the under?
Oh, he took the under. Yeah, no. Ted made the right move. Smart move, Ted.
Ted was a
job,
winner.
Ted.
You could be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Millions of dollars are won every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Go be a winner and go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Tauscher up next. When it comes to your health, do you want to buy something online or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right. You want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie, and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
Green Bay Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports and Update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. Green Bay Packers training camp continuing, second practice this week, resuming up there in Green Bay earlier today. But then also this morning, we heard from Kevin Clark's conversation with Jordan Love on his podcast, This Is Football. He asked him a few questions about the Packers training camp, his time playing with Aaron Rodgers, and then also who's impressed him most so far this training camp. Here's what Love had to say.
Matthew Golden.
Take me through what makes him special so far.
Man, I think he's shown up since day one and just really shown his play style, showing what he's all about. I think he came in really polished and has been making plays since day one. He's got very aggressive hands. He's a smooth route runner. He's got speed. So I think for him, it's just continue to understand the playbook and wrap his head around everything that we have in, because we have a very deep system.
Read more about Packers training camp over at ESPN.com and stay up to date on all your news, notes, and coverage from Packers reporter Rob Demovsky. The Brewers taking their second win of the series against the Atlanta Braves last night. They'll be back at it tonight, 6:15 first pitch right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other. Jim's an onion. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good part.
ESPN Madison, where Jim, Matt, and Molly, Jim Rutledge, responded to CeCe. Now, Jim, I've known for 20 years. Jim is a Bears fan from Wisconsin. So this is interesting.
How does that work?
How?
Well, I'm not going to criticize someone else's fandom. There's a lot of...
I know.
You can.
I was born and raised Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A Bears fan?
So there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of people in Wisconsin that are Chicago fans.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is hour number 2 of Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
I'm Jim Rutledge. I have the power in the Everlight Solar Studio. Matt Hamilton is in Minneapolis, and he's crushing the Coors Light, I'm sure, after the show. But you can see him on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. And we got Primetime Wollersheim with me in the Everlight Solar Studio as well. Molly Brown is off to Arizona, and Chrissy Birdsall, who's often here as well, is off to Orlando for good there. So it's just me hanging out here with Prime on the other side of the glass. I pulled a Matt Hamilton here before we get to Tauscher. I keep on leaving the studio because it's just me in here. Ryan's doing his job back there, so I've just been talking to the folks in the bullpen here because otherwise it is kind of you just got to hear by yourself. You're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But we're now joined by Mark Tauscher. And Mark, I'm not sure if you heard in the open there about Evan pointed out that I'm a Bears fan raised in Wisconsin, and we had a few callers chiming in of like, how does that happen? And Matt and I both kind of came to the same take. As far as your sports fandom, it's more nurture than nature as far as like you're probably going to be a fan of the sports your parents or the teams that your parents are a fan of. Is that fair to say, or how do you think fandom breaks out? Does it have to be geographical, or is it more on who raised you and who their fan bases were?
I mean, when I heard that, the idea that there's a lot of Bear fans in Wisconsin. I mean, you know that Kenosha Racine border where you have some people work in Illinois and come. I get that, But no, I don't know how many Wisconsin folks that are born here, that grew up here, are Bears fans. I don't know a lot of them. You're one of the, I guess, exceptions to it. But yeah, of course, I think your parents and family will, if they're interested and have a big passion and go to games and watch them and listen to them on the radio, I would guess that your kids will eventually do that. I know for a while we were out in Washington and we met up with Darryl Bevell, and we met some of the Seahawks back in probably the mid-2010s, like 2015. And it took a while. I had to sway my son, who knew I played for the Packers. He started becoming a Seahawks fan because it comes back to who you meet, where your experience is, and how that plays out. But for most Wisconsinites, the Packers are such a big part of everything that goes on in a social and a communal thing. It's very, I think you're one of the very few that I think would fall into that category.
Yeah, and Matt, I'll let you ask that. We got Tauscher on a tight timeline. We went way over. So I want to ask Mark this. So obviously, I don't know if you noticed, Unsportsmanlike has taken my take.
You got a lot of love, Jimmy.
I did.
We played your stuff.
A lot
today,
of something.
And by the way, leveling up and leveling down, I don't know how you could make the claim. And I think you do a great job.
Yeah.
You do a lot of, but come on, man.
So let me give
Rodgers finished up. They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you're trying to give me the argument that we've leveled down?
Well,
we've gotten better and we've won playoff games since Rodgers left. How is that leveling down?
Let me just give you the quick cliff notes here. And I'm not going off the last season. I'm going Aaron Rodgers, like his heyday with LaFleur. Yeah, the last year was down, but the Lions have owned the North. The Packers used to own the North. The Lions have owned the North the last 2 years. They have 2 playoff victories, so the Packers
I've heard
won.
your clip. Jim.
And
I've
1-5,
more than I've ever wanted.
and 1-5 in the division last year. So but at the same time, I do think the Packers could clearly jump back up. But right now, it's just weird that they're more peers with Minnesota.
Let me ask you this.
Than they are.
Let me ask you this. You are a Bears fan.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that the transition from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love has been better than you expected, or about what you thought was going to happen? Because you've lived it.
Yeah.
You've seen. You haven't been able to find a quarterback. And I'm not going to sit here and bury the Bears. That's not what it. But to look at it from, if you looked at this 2 years ago today and thought, boy, you're going to have a quarterback that you're going to willingly pay $55 million to, that's going to win a playoff game, that's going to be in the playoffs both years, and a young ascending team with a quarterback that you now believe is your franchise guy. You're telling me that's leveling down?
Well, one thing I'll say, the first thing you said there is that have the Packers exceeded the expectations I thought that they would have transitioning? Absolutely. And I don't think LaFleur is a bad coach. It's all started with, I said, the Packers and their coaching staff being ranked 10th in the NFL, I thought was fair. And but if you wanted to, again, the case of leveling down is, but they didn't level down as far as they could have, or other teams have. They didn't fall off a cliff. They just went from perennial NFC championship games and always winning the North to now the Lions are the kings of the North. Now, I haven't brought up a good point, Mark, and I'll throw this back your way, is there a case that just everyone in the North got better more than the Packers leveled down? Everyone in the North leveled up outside of the Bears, or they haven't leveled up yet.
Obviously Detroit has leveled up big time with Dan Campbell after his first 2 years, but you gave a Cliff Notes version, and I know you've had time and you've gotten a bunch of love from this. I don't fully understand what point you were trying to make, other than, were you trying to make that the Packers have gotten worse since Aaron Rodgers left? Because if you look back at 2014, 11 years ago, sure, you could say, they're not there. But anyone that looked at the last year of Aaron Rodgers and what the Packers did and what we're seeing now, every one of us would take what we're seeing now compared to what we would see with Rodgers and LaFleur in the last season of his time with Green Bay.
Yeah, and the point I was trying to take was reacting to Chris Canty, kind of dunking on Nick Sirianni, and it was back to the Packers being 10th. Coaching staff was fair. Nick Sirianni should get more love than Matt LaFleur because you just won the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts has been in the league just as long, and they've played in 2, and they still made the playoffs in their quote-unquote down year. So he's had a heck of a run. Washington has climbed up past the Packers as the darling team with Jaden Daniels. Now that could fall back down for them. But I was really reacting to the idea that Canty was dunking on Sirianni and was elevating LaFleur up. And I thought the Packers having the 10th ranked coaching staff in the NFL was fair.
Who are you dunking on then?
Really, honestly, I was more trying to point out that the Packers have not leveled. They're not at the Philadelphia level right now. And that was really about Nick Sirianni. They're not at that premier team level. They're not a blue chip team or an elite team right now. Now, to your point, that's fair because they don't have Aaron Rodgers and they could still get there with Jordan Love. They just have gone from blue chip elite to very good
team. Yeah.
I mean, Philadelphia, if you remember, their general manager forced Sirianni to fire both coordinators because they fell apart the year before they just won the Super Bowl. So this idea of leveling up, they leveled way down, and now...
But they still made the playoffs that year, to be fair.
They did, but they got run out of the gym by
did.
Tampa, and they didn't win a game the last 7 weeks of the season. One game in the last 6 or 7 weeks. So, the bottom line is I think you want consistency, and I think from the Packers, you kind of know what you're going to get. And I don't know where your head's at on this, but I know that, Unsportsmanlike also kind of went through, or Cap said that the Packers are going to finish fourth. Would you agree that the Packers are the least likely of all the teams in the NFC North to finish fourth?
Yeah, because honestly, I said that I felt like any team could win the North or finish last, but the Packers would be the least likely team. Or I'd probably say Detroit is the least likely team to finish dead last, but the Packers right there.
I mean, Detroit would be the second on that list, but I just think there's more uncertainty about what Detroit has to deal with. And if their quarterback, something happens to their quarterback, who do they got in comparison to Green Bay, where their backup quarterback is having a great camp and went 3-0, in essence 3-0 last year as a starter with Matt LaFleur. So I understand all this, and I get it, but the concept of leveling down, I couldn't disagree with you more than what your viral clip did.
Yeah, and Mark, I want to talk more, but we were told that we want to respect your time. So
we got time for one more great question, Jim.
All right,
what else?
Matt, do you want to? Matt's here. Do you want to ask a question,
Yes.
Matt? So sorry, Mark, you won't get a great question.
Well, it might be okay. First of all, Mark, really enjoyed the show this morning. I was on the road. I heard you say you were frustrated, bordering on angry. I wish I would have heard that yesterday. It would have helped me out a lot, but I learned something from you today, so thank you for being such a good radio professional. You were down in Platteville today watching the Badgers. I just want to know, what was your main takeaway? What were you most impressed with watching the Badgers practice today?
Sure. To me, and again, man, this is one practice, and I said this about watching some of the spring ball as well. The noticeable difference on the size, how big our defensive line, and we have a lot of big bodies now. It's practice. There's guys that I think are going to be really good players and a big upgrade on that side of the ball from what we saw last year. Because to me, I don't know about you guys as Badger fans, I think the lasting image of last year was we got worn down and beaten down up front by teams being more physical. And I think part of it was our guys were beaten down. We didn't have the depth, and we lost a few guys. But hopefully with what we did in the portal and bringing guys in, you will notice the first thing I noticed and what I really was paying attention to today was just the size, and the defensive line I think is going to be much deeper and much more productive than what we saw last year.
You're not the only person I've heard say that. I think there's a lot of legit, and we saw, Matt, we talked about it on the show, of all the weight that these players gained, even in their short time from when they arrived through spring practice and fall practice, the weight program they put on for these Badger players, that they've gotten bulkier since they've arrived. I think they got 6 guys over 300. Maybe last year they only had 1 guy over 300 pounds.
Yeah, there's a lot more from a depth standpoint and big. Again, we shall see. We're 20 some odd days out from the opener on a Thursday night, so we'll see how all of that plays out. But there's no doubt that was something that I think everybody that watched, including all the coaches and everything else, felt like we need to be a lot better in that area. And there's no doubt that was emphasized. But now we'll see if how that all plays out on the field.
Mark, awesome stuff. We appreciate you hopping on with us.
You bet.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Mark Tauscher from Wilde & Tausch. He's brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. Madison's Family-owned, Madison's custom jeweler, Madison's locally owned jeweler, Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. We'll do a quick Stones on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Green Bay Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers. Chalmers Jewelers, with locations in Middleton and downtown Madison.
Siding Unlimited is Wisconsin's leader in Pella window installation. In fact, we are Wisconsin's only Pella Platinum Premier Certified contractor, and we've won Pella's prestigious National Contractor of the Year award 5 times. It's easy to get started. The process starts with homeowners meeting us at Siding Unlimited's amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Summer is here, and your taste buds deserve the best. Carbless is perfect for the pool, the lake, or hanging out by the fire. Full of flavor with 0 sugars, only 100 calories, and made with premium spirits. Don't just settle for something overly carbonated and those flavorless seltzers. Carbless has full flavor with every sip, not just a hint. So when you're ready to take a drink and ready to chill, Carbless is clean, crisp, and won't leave you feeling bloated. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
1, 2, 3,
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out.
I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man.
I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
Jim Rutledge, Matt Hamilton with you. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. It is Throwing Stones. Matt Hamilton is in Minneapolis. Molly Brown is on her way to Arizona. Primetime Lordshine with me in the Everlight Solar Studio. Matt, first of all, I will say that I'll miss you the rest of the week and have fun hosting with Jesse next week, and looking forward to being able to talk to you again on the air. I'm sure we'll talk off the air plenty about shoes and big hats on Caleb Williams. But the NFL and ESPN has acquired the NFL. The NFL gets 10% ownership stake in ESPN, and a lot of people are freaking out on this multiple levels. A couple things from ESPN today. They announced that their standalone app is launching this month. They announced a partnership with WWE, which probably leads to UFC on the way out. I think they're probably going to trade those.
I believe the company that owns WWE also owns UFC.
But I've just heard that the UFC is going to get very expensive, and I think ESPN's going to let that walk.
Okay.
And then maybe they'll change their mind because they have this standalone platform that they need to fill content with, and that's why getting the NFL Network, I think, will be good. Red Zone, all those things are going to stay the same. But some people are very worried that ESPN is going to ruin this. I think people just are overall negative. Like, we all consume ESPN. It's not perfect, but I think they're going to allow NFL Network to still do their thing, much like they're going to do with the TNT folks on ESPN NBA side of things.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, change is scary until it happens and you realize that it could be for the best. Like, ESPN is a leader in sports entertainment. The idea that you would be afraid that they're going to botch something that they're going to put this money into and effort into, to me, seems kind of silly because, it's just, that's the thing. It's sports. It's showing sports. They're going to make these things as good as they possibly can, and I imagine that it's going to be awesome. And I love Red Zone, so I'm super here for that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be good for all sports fans. And also, Matt, you're kind of a famous cord cutter. The ESPN app might just be your solution. It's like $30, and you can get all the NFL stuff along with everything else.
Absolutely. I just got to get those codes from head office where I can get some free television.
All right, Matt Hamilton. They got to start paying you some money to curl. All right, this has been Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. We'll see you later.
See ya.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Clinky Cleaner CFO, Sean Young.
The local part is what's key for us. Madison is a local community, and that's what I look at with James Imaging. When I talk to our account